I'm in Thailand. I've been in Thailand for some months now. Okay. It took the TikTok ban to make me get my shit together on YouTube. So, a moment of silence for TikTok. Okay, now here's the update everybody's been waiting on from me. We're in regards to relocating to Thailand. Let's get into it. The sound, the lighting, the noise, I'm not going to apologize for it because it is what it is. I am still in transition mode. I'm currently still in my Airbnb here in Thailand, and I officially have found my home, at least for a year, in the same building. I just signed my lease today. Now, when I initially started out creating the whole vlog thing for my YouTube channel, or just for my whole transition from Thailand, I wanted to map out the whole shit, right? I wanted to record all the things and the stuff. I noticed something about myself. I am just not that kind of content creator because I'm definitely not about to set the whole situation over here, and do a whole bunch of editing. That's not my jam. I am manifesting, putting it out in the ethers that I am one day going to have my whole entire film crew who can do that for me now. But you just gotta take me as I am right now. That being said, there was really nothing for me to record when it came to the whole entire process of moving. I waited until my lease was up. Okay, my lease was up in October. I gave away everything that I didn't give away I tried to sell, and I ended up giving away more stuff. At the end of the day, the biggest issue I had that stressed me out the absolute most was the clothing, okay, and not wanting to bring so much stuff because, again, you are taking all of these suitcases with you, and you have to pay for all of these suitcases, even if you are going on a one-way ticket across the country. And if you're somebody who was on, somewhat of a budget, that may not be feasible. The fees add up. Even if you are buying a one-way ticket from the United States to another country, the fees add up. And those bags contributes to the fees. Majority of the unexpected expenses that I have had is not only just a learning curve, but also for unnecessary fees that I did not know existed. So obviously the baggage fees is going to be one of them. But I tried to make that down to as minimal as I could. I took 2 bags with me, didn't do a carry-on bag, regretted that because I ended up buying a carry-on bag in Doha, okay, in Qatar, because I flew Qatar Airlines. So get your pen and paper, because we're about to talk about the real that nobody actually talks about. In addition to having to get rid of just a lot of unnecessary things, I would highly recommend that you put everything in motion a year before you're actually going to leave. Like, start getting rid of stuff. Start making out a plan the year before you are going to leave, because I did not do that. There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of different elements that I had to consider, which really wasn't elements that I should have considered. My pros and my cons of why I would leave or stay. I have a lot of responsibility since my father passed that was put on me that should never been put on me because I didn't lay down and make that baby. And so I really had to be selfish, and instead of being self-sacrificing, put myself first. So I made a lot of last-minute decisions that were also a hindrance. In addition to that, I initially wanted to bring my cat with me. I am very heartbroken that I had to part ways with her. And a lot of that came from misinformation from the vet, Cinco Ranch, in Cinco Ranch, Texas. You funky bitch. You funky bitches. I'm just going to how to say that. I know not TikTok. YouTube probably I'm going to try to bleep that out. But they gave me a lot of misinformation that led me to crunch time on getting her information together, her shots, everything together in order to take her with me. In addition to that, I adopted my cat from a shelter. They always come microchipped from the shelter. They tried to charge me additionally for a microchip that I already had in her. And in addition to that, which makes it more messed up how they treated us, is because, and I say us, I'm talking about me and my cat, is because of the fact that it wasn't like my cat was new to that veterinary clinic. She wasn't. She had been there before. They tried to charge us not only for another microchip, but another rabies vaccination, which they gave her initial rabies vaccination because I took her directly from the shelter that I adopted her from to them. They screwed me over a lot. But in hindsight, I think it was kind of divine intervention, and I'm understanding that my cat was a placeholder in my life, because when you come to Thailand, something people don't talk about a lot is that a lot of the condos that come pre-furnished, they don't allow pets. Dogs, cats, no matter the size, no matter the quantity, they do not allow it. You will find that most hotels, because when you come over here, you're either renting out an Airbnb or you're renting out a hotel until you figure out exactly what area you want to stay in and, you know, what condo you find that you want to live in. They don't accept them. So you're either going to have to find a house that's completely unfurnished, which wasn't a part of my budget. I did not come over here to buy furniture, at least not right now, and do all the things and the stuff that I would require to maintain a household in America. I didn't come over here with that. So unless you find an unfurnished home for your pets where they're going to be welcome, you're going to cut down your condo or apartment search down by 80%, trying to bring over your pets. In addition to that, you also want to take in consideration that if you don't end up liking it, or for whatever reason you end up coming back, you're going to have to deal with other legalities, other red tape on bringing your pets back home to whatever your home country is. And a lot of the pets that are here are abandoned pets from people who are bringing them over from different countries and did not take them back home. This is going to be a shameless plug, and it's actually not even a shameless plug at all. I do have links down in the description box. My guide to moving to Thailand, I highly recommend that you get that. It has 3 different files in there. The first file is over 60 pages, and that's going to have all of your information, banking, visa types, just a lot of general information that you need, research that I did myself that you are going to need. It's going to cut your research down. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because if you are looking for jobs, I have job boards in there and links to Siam Legal, real estate places. Everything is hyperlinked within that. If you want to run a business, again, that information is in there. But also I have a city breakdown. And that is going to be very important, and the reason why I just brought that actual guide up. Because I think it's important, and from my experience, it is important to figure out what kind of city that you want to live in first. A lot of people say, you know, well, what area was the best area? The area that you want to live in is going to be the area that best fits your lifestyle, which I think that is so beautifully unique about Thailand. It's because every city here, from Phuket, from Pattaya or Pattaya, I call it Pattaya. Pattaya, Chiang Mai, Bangkok, all the surrounding areas, they all have their own unique vibe. So you need to figure out what's going to be best for you. If I could do it all over again, I would have came directly to Chiang Mai, which is where I am now and where I am settling for my stay here, versus going to Bangkok first and realizing and understanding that it is an entire city vibe. It is New York meets Bourbon Street. I am a spiritual girly, a strong empath. It's not for me. Okay, it is not for me. I should not have stayed there for an entire week that I stayed there. I felt very uncomfortable going out at night. There was not an area, and don't get me wrong, it's still safe. But for me, I just didn't feel comfortable. Being a single woman traveling alone and being attractive, like there was not a step that I didn't take where I was not being catcalled by a group of African or Arab men. I didn't realize that there was a huge Arab community in Thailand in general, but specifically in Bangkok. I didn't know that, but it was just very uncomfortable for me. The whole vibe was uncomfortable for me because where I am in my healing journey, in my spiritual journey, and on the back of having all the loss in my family that I experienced that was very, very close. I'm talking about my dad, my grandmother, my uncles, like even the family dog died. I mean, all in like 8 months. So it just was not a place that I needed to be in. I don't want to be in city life, at least not to that capacity, because Chiang Mai is still a city, but it's more laid back, it's more cultural, it's more temples, it's more spiritual healing versus the chaos that is Bangkok. And I wish I just would have, I had already paid for the hotel, committed to that stay, so I stayed there longer than I should have. I feel like Bangkok, for me personally, has its place. Would I live there? No. But I would have came to Chiang Mai and then like visit, because it's only an hour flight, domestic flight over there to go and visit. And so is, Hua Hin. I forgot to mention that one too, because that's like beach, city, and mountains. Chiang Mai is very mountainous. So you get the coolness of the mountains because it is mountainous here. I don't know if I just said that, but it's mountainous here. And it's more pleasurable, okay? Because it's hot over here. And I'm saying it as a person who came from Texas. It's hot. All right? We basically on top of the equator over here. It's hot. So it's important to know or have an idea of where you want to go. Again, that's why I brought up the guide. I also am adding a consultation scouting service to that, because I realize how crucial that is to actually have someone who's over here, living over here, boots on the ground, learning the language. Because what also eats up your money if you're here on a budget is the fact that you don't really know where everything is. You just don't. You don't. A lot of my funds that I came over here with got eaten up because of logistics. And thinking that I was actually being in an area that was highly populated, that turned out to not be populated. One particular place I rented was an Airbnb. It was a condo, and it was off the super highway. But if you're not here, you don't know that it's off the super highway, right? And there was literally nothing, and I mean nothing, that was walkable. So I know we talk about how affordable it is over here, and it is. And it is. However, if you are utilizing a Grab for absolutely everything, you find yourself running up about $20-30 a day. Okay, and that's getting to, getting fro, depending on how many times a day you want to eat, your whole banking situation, you need to figure that out, because those fees add up. I found out the hard way, which is very, very frustrating, because I physically went into my bank to not only talk to them and tell them that I was leaving outside of the country for my card to be dinged for fraud when I got over here, but also to be told that I have an account where I get reimbursed the foreign exchange fee, only to find out that courtesy, and that they only actually reimburse so many. So you're getting tagged with the foreign exchange fees by using the Grab app, which is very, very popular here because it's connected right into your card. And also the ATM fees, you're getting tagged with that as well, which, by the way, you always want to hit when you're using an ATM to get your money out without the conversion fee, because that adds on to the fees that are taken. So that was a bit disappointing. So it adds up really, really quickly. I know everybody wants to be boom ba rah about the affordability, but they don't talk about all them fees you get hit with, especially if you're in an area where absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, is walkable. Okay, 7-Eleven is very popular here, was not walkable. In addition to that, there's a lot of places that I ended up staying while I was trying to figure out where I actually wanted to stay that were completely opposite of the Google reviews and the Agoda reviews. Agoda. Okay, and I still use Agoda. I do, but I don't appreciate how the situation was handled. And the thing about Thailand here is that you aren't really allowed to say anything negative. They will literally ban you from coming into their country if they catch up with you. You know what I'm saying? And so that was very disheartening because Agoda and Google are not making these hotels and these condos updates, and they all have amazing reviews. I'm talking about 4.8 and above. And I got to one hotel that I had booked, looked amazing online, booked it for 7 days, spent over $300, and it, number one, it was haunted. And when we pulled up, and I'm talking about me and the Grab driver, it looked abandoned. It looked so abandoned that the Grab driver said, "Don't worry, this isn't the hotel." It was the parking lot of the hotel. But when we got a lot further, it was not much better at all. And the whole upset with Agoda, again, I still use them. I had to kind of roll the dice because you got to use the tools that's available to you when you are somewhere. They put me in a whole back and forth between my bank, them, and the hotel, and everybody was like playing in my face about my money and who had it, and nobody wants to give me back my money. And so I never stayed at this hotel. I was gone within 45 minutes. I didn't even allow them to fix the situation because there was nothing to fix. It was haunted. I'm a spiritual girly. As soon as I stepped off the elevator on the 10th floor, the first thing that physically came out of my mouth, it's haunted in here. Not in addition to the extreme mold smell, I have allergies. That's not gonna work. It was dirty, water stains all in the ceiling. Like, it may have been a good place back in its heyday, but they definitely weren't keeping it up, and they weren't being forced to actually update their photos. And so Agoda promised me that they were going to give me like $34 refund, a $34 refund credit off of $300 that I still didn't even get back. Okay, I understand that I want my career as a creator to be where it is, and I want brand deals, but I'm never going to sit up here and promote somebody that don't do right by the consumers, because I am a consumer first. And as a consumer, I'm tired of getting screwed over. So I offer consultant service where I will scout areas for you. One night, $500 chunk was taken out of my budget because I was not staying at that hotel. There was no way I was laying in that dirty ass hotel. Okay, and it was haunted. No thanks. I already got enough going on with my own ancestors and the spirits that come through to me all willy-nilly because of my mediumship abilities. I don't need nothing else to contribute to that situation at all. These are the things they don't tell you about coming over here. And I know what y'all thinking. This is why you should use credit cards and not listen here. Listen here, champ. I get it, but also I'm a buck the system kind of person. I am a person in general, I'm gonna shake the system, okay? And I personally don't care for the credit card system, or the whole credit system, even though I know for a fact it gives you access. I understand that. It's too much up and down, back and forth, rigmarole, playing the game. That's completely unnecessary for me. So my tip that I would give to someone, because I do have a PayPal business account, I do own a business, utilize your PayPal account first if you have a PayPal account, because what PayPal does is they're going to treat your funds that's in your account like a credit card versus a banking system first. And this is the first time that I've ever even had an issue with my bank refunding me anything, because again, it's a business account and they played in my face. So Chase, you're on the chopping block too, bucko. Phone service, get somebody other than T-Mobile. Because they do pay for the towers. They pay for the towers. They do. Doesn't necessarily mean that the towers in the other countries are going to work very well. Okay, I also have to buy or pay for an AIS system here. It's the best one over here, in my personal opinion, if you're going to be over in Thailand. Very, very good for Thailand, but you have to buy roaming data for Vietnam, which I just left Vietnam. I'm gonna make a separate video about that, because boy, was that an experience. I mean, unless you're getting shut down in the middle of Viet Cong for money, are you really traveling? Are you really traveling? Anyway, just get a better phone service. better than T-Mobile, because nothing's worse than you doing your due diligence as an adult and you are communicating and physically going into establishments like banks and cell phone companies, and you're letting them know what's going on, and they fail you anyway after telling you and assuring you that everything is fine, you're set up properly. Because T-Mobile never unlocks my phone. So by the time I got to Doha, my phone was a dead brick. And it was such a dead brick that I couldn't even connect to the Wi-Fi service. Okay. Yeah. The first order of business after I figured it out, and was able to figure it out, because nothing is also worse than, I had such an experience when I first got here. And it wasn't anything to do with Thailand in its totality. It was literally because my bank and my phone service failed me completely. Not only did I not have phone service when I got over here, but also my bank, that I let them know that I was leaving the country, as soon as I used the Grab app and tried to use my card, dinged my card for fraud and shut it down. Yeah. And that's happened on multiple occasions here. And their excuse to me was, well, it's a security measure and there's nothing really we can do about it because we don't know when it's going to ding you for fraud. Pardon me? Just had to deal with it going over to Vietnam. But what was sucked about that trip, again, I'll make a second video, is that somebody in San Francisco actually got a hold of my information and was fraudulently using my card through Uber Technologies. If you're not going through these things, ask again, are you really traveling? And while your body's trying to acclimate to the time zone change, you have to stay up. Well, actually, no, it's pretty easy to stay up when you first get here because your body hasn't acclimated. But then once your body does get acclimated, you know, everything that you have to utilize, you have to stay up to the middle of the night sometimes to get a hold of certain companies, because when you're sleeping, they're awake, and vice versa. So I'm going to end this video right now. I'm going to make a part 2 because I know people are going to want to talk about income. I mean, I could just do that right now. It depends. That's also in the guide. I did a very generalized view of income for different family sizes. Every situation is very, very unique because every one of us is living a unique life. I'm still going to put that in a part 2 because I don't want to drag this out more than 30 minutes. A lot of information, a lot of things have happened since I've been here. Overall, do I regret my experience? No, I don't. For those of you, $300 for a hotel for 7 nights is expensive of Thailand. That was my splurge hotel because it was supposed to be fancy. That was my splurge to myself because I was like, oh, I'm going to do lifestyle content. And the ancestors like, huh, you forgot why you was here. So you can subscribe if you want more content like this. I'm still going to be on this whole spiritual kick, doing some new things on the channel as always. Now I'm officially here because TikTok's banned. So, till next time, see you guys.